The Minister for Arts is with us for this contribution. I think she'll enjoy it and benefit from it in particular. But I want to take this, we're all here, sir, of course, as the standing orders will reflect. I want to take this opportunity to pay credit to a South Australian writer who most people in the chamber probably know, and that is Lainie Anderson, whose third book is about to be launched on the 1st of October, and I, for one, can't wait. Lainie and I got to know each other relatively well during the centenary of the Great Air Race a couple of years ago when I was Minister for Education, and she was the ambassador for the History Trust's series of events to celebrate the 100 years of that race. And it was an extraordinary body of work that was done, and culminated finally, maybe a couple of years late, in the movement of the Vickers Vimy to its wonderful purpose-built facility at Adelaide Airport, with the support of the state and federal governments and significant contribution from Adelaide Airport. But one of the key inclusions in that program was indeed the launch of the book, The Long Flight Home, which was, Lainie, to my knowledge, Lainie's first published novel, a novelisation of that extraordinary story. Lainie, of course, has a long and successful career as a commentator, a journalist and commentator in South Australia. I particularly appreciated early on, I think the first time I really became aware of her interest in education was when the member for Unley brought to my attention an article she'd written in the Sunday Mail highlighting her support for the Liberal policy to move Year 7 to high school at the time. But I want to focus the remainder of my time on what she's doing now. A couple of years ago, she wrote her first mystery novel, and it was one that I think actually is worthy of all members of the Parliament reading. It's called The Death of Dora Black. It focuses on the characters of Kate Cox, who was a historical figure. She was not only South Australia's first female police officer, appointed in the same conditions as male officers. She was the first one in the British Empire, possibly one of the first ones in any modern police force on earth, if not the first. Kate Cox is a well-known name in South Australia. Her role as a first woman as police officer, and indeed her role as a social worker, is remembered through the stories of the children whose lives were saved and prolonged through her work and given a future. And it's a historical, significant thing for our state, the life of Kate Cox. What Lainie Anderson has done through The Death of Dora Black, and indeed the new book, Murder on North Terrace, which is to be launched in a couple of weeks' time, is to bring this character to life along with the fictionalised sidekick Ethel Bromley. And it's a wonderful character piece that is highlighted not just by the strong writing, the strength of the mystery, which stands right up there, not just with Miss Cox, but with Miss Fisher, Miss Marple. They can all stand aside for the new crime-fighting duo that is sure to take the world. But for South Australian readers in particular, hearing the descriptions of 1910, I think it was 1915 or 1917 it was set, era Adelaide landmarks, and the way in which that society and that community lived is really worth reflecting on for a South Australian reader. One of the, not just the opportunity to hear the landmarks described, this building, half built as it was at the time, is described. The rotunda at Elder Rotunda is a piece for a bit, the Glenelg Jetty, landmarks in Ranella and Victor Harbour and mentioned as well. But thinking of the way that the social dynamic played out at the time is worthy. Lainie must have gone to an extraordinary length of trouble to do that historical research, but then to take that historical research, to take those real-life historical characters and the made-up ones, and to bring them together in a story that is compelling, it was a tremendous feat of achievement. And as somebody who enjoys consuming fiction from time to time, I just express my appreciation of that. For members of the Parliament who are too cheap to buy a copy, the good news is that the Parliamentary Library has a copy of the book, so you've got about a week and a half to get it and read it before the new one comes out. But do better than that. Be better than that. Go out and buy a copy. Support South Australian artists, support South Australian writers, and to Lainie Anderson I offer my congratulations, and I'm sure that my colleagues all join you, and who knows, maybe by Christmas they'll all have read the book and be ready to get the next one in their stockings.
The member for Playford.
Thank you, sir. Congratulations to Lainie Anderson.